Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is August 2nd, 2010, and I'm Darko. I'm covering false flag terrorism, or anything close to false flag terrorism, or a possible false flag terrorism. So, this first article is from Pravda, and it's titled U.S. State Department Gets Above Itself Again. This is from August 2nd, 2010. And it says the U.S. State Department released its report on adherence and compliance with arms control or a non-proliferation and disarmament agreement. The report states that Russia has violated a number of international agreements, particularly the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. The report has been prepared at the request of 7 Republican senators, members of the Committee for the International Affairs. They repeatedly set out their doubts about the need to ratify the new START treaty signed by Dmitry Medvedev and Barack Obama in April of this year. The senators asked experts to investigate if Russia violated its obligations of the START 1 treaty from '91 and other international agreements. And Russia is a country that, in my view, if there were to be sides, would be along the side with China and Iran. But then they will also come out and say, oh, well, these sanctions against Iran are not justified, and then they'll come out the next day and say that Iran has the capability of producing nuclear weapons, and that they support sanctions. So I mean, they're constantly flip-flopping, but I think that they just do that for PR. And even if there is a conflict with these countries, the U.S., Israel, Russia, China, and Iran, that China and Russia will kind of be publicly denouncing whatever Iran does, but us behind closed doors will be funding them and or supplying them with certain types of weapons or whatever they can't get because of sanctions. But it says U.S. experts claim that Russia blocks the inspections of mobile mission systems, and they also dislike the fact that Russia had not provided telemetric data of their ballistic missile launches to the United States. Furthermore, U.S. government doesn't believe Russia executes the Chemical Weapons Convention. It says Russia has completed destruction of its chemical weapons production facilities scheduled for destruction, but has not met with the CWPF conversion deadline, the report said. It says, in the absence of additional information from Russia, the U.S. is unable to ascertain whether Russia has declared all of its stockpile and all of its CW development facilities. It goes on to say, in addition, the Americans set out their concerns about Russia's execution of the Conventional Arms Treaty in Europe from '99. Russia had not pulled out its troops from, I can't pronounce that country's name, so I'm not going to try and disrespect it, but it says, and deployed army bases in South Ossetia and another country without Georgia's consent. August 3rd, 2010, Russian jet crashes in eastern Siberia, killing 11. A Russian regional airliner crashed and exploded into a fireball while trying to land today in eastern Siberia, killing 11 of the 15 people aboard. Says the aircraft crashed at 2:40 a.m. near the edge of the runway while intending to land at the airport in the city of Igarka, the ministry said. Says the cause of the crash was not immediately known, but a spokesman for the air transport agency said the plane veered off to the right before crashing around 700 meters from the runway. This next article that I found from Press TV, I may have posted it on a video from maybe 3 days ago in a news bulletin. But I thought I'd post this again because Israel's back in the news because they had some rockets fired on them. I just wanted to put this out there just so people don't get the impression that poor Israel got attacked, as they're being, looked at by the global government, the UN, for crimes for what they did with the Gaza humanitarian aid ship, where they basically stormtrooped it with special forces, a ship from Turkey with mostly Turkish, but some Iranians, bringing aid to people in the Gaza who have a blockade. Israel has a blockade against them, from what I know. But this article is titled, Israel Violates Lebanese airspace again. It says Thursday, this is from Thursday, July 29th, 2010. The Lebanese army says 2 Israeli surveillance aircraft has violated the country's airspace, with one of them staying around for about 11 hours. Said another surveillance aircraft violated the Lebanese airspace at 6:25 and roamed over the southern and eastern area. Israel carries out such violations on almost a daily basis, claiming it has to maintain surveillance. The incursions breached the UN Security Council Resolution 1701, which obliges Israel to keep out of Lebanon following its 2006 war on the country, which left some 1,200 Lebanese dead. The title of this article is Lebanon busts second Mossad telecom spy. From the 20th of July again. A second employee of Lebanon's mobile phone firm has been charged with spying for Israel and has been referred to a military court. Since April 2009, Lebanon has arrested nearly 100 people, including members of the country's security forces and telecommunications personnel, on suspicion of spying for the Mossad, which has dealt a serious blow to Israel's intelligence gathering system in Lebanon. Rockets hit Israel and Jordan resorts. Which is kind of weird because Egypt had just allowed Israel and U.S. warships to go through and pass towards the Gulf. And I had a commenter say that they do that on a normal basis. And so, not sure if how much truth there is to that statement, but either way, it says rockets from Egypt's Sinai, where the Islamist militants have operated in the past, hit Israel and Jordan's Red Sea ports resorts on Monday, killing a Jordanian civilian and injuring 3 others, Jordanian and Israeli police said. A Jordanian Interior Ministry source said one of the 4 injured when a rocket exploded near a 5-star hotel in Aqaba later died from his injuries. There was no word of casualties in the adjacent Israeli port and holiday resort of Eilat, police said. Aqaba and Eilat lie on the narrow northern end of the Gulf of Aqaba, an extension of the Red Sea, with Sinai stretching west and south of the Eilat. Wow, some tough words to pronounce. Israeli President Peres condemned the rocket fire and said Israel and Jordan, who made peace in '94, were, quote, partners in the uncompromising struggle to eradicate terrorism. Quote, there is a struggle in the Middle East between the peace camp of moderate countries and the camp of extremists who want to sabotage any chance for peace. And remember, peace means those who stand down, allow themselves to be taken over and exploited and enslaved peacefully. Stealthy government contractor monitors U.S. providers worked with WikiLeaks informant updated, and it's a semi-secret government contractor that calls itself Project Vigilant Surface, and it says that monitors the traffic of 12 regional internet or ISPs, hands much of that information to federal agencies, and encouraged one of its volunteers, Richard Adrian Lamo, to inform the federal government about the alleged source of the controversial video of civilian deaths in Iraq leaked to whistleblower site WikiLeaks in April. So there you go. Then we have this article from July 26, 2010. WikiLeaks docs target Pakistan. So that's what it was all about. Not about Afghanistan, but targeting Iran and Pakistan, saying we got to go there July 26th. That's what they were trying to... it was a controlled leak. That's what it was. To focus efforts on Pakistan and Iran. July 28, 2010, plane with 152 on board crashes in Pakistan. No survivors. And the crash was caused by bad weather, supposedly, but they also made some weird maneuvering. So it wasn't just the weather. It's still under investigation. But this says Pakistani flood survivors salvage little they have. Millions affected by Pakistani floods, one of the worst floods in history, August 2nd, 2010. So the plane crash was a little, you know, I had a mental note of it, right? I didn't think too much of it. Then we have this this flood. Then I have this article from August 3rd from Asia Times. Militants, the opportunity and disaster. The worst floods in Pakistan history have claimed more than 1,100 lives, and it gives them an opportunity to look for. It says more than 30,000 troops have been deployed, but that the Taliban and militants have emerged. Spray, spray, spray.